Hi there, this is Ariel Selwyn with arielselwyn.com, and here I have Frank McKinney. And Frank, thank you so much for being with us today. I know we're going to learn a lot from you, and it's just a privilege and honor to have you. So I met Frank through networking, and he's a friend of our family's actually. And so Frank, I know you, but would you share a little bit about yourself, where you're from, your family, just so we can get to know you a little bit?
Sure. First of all, thanks for having me on your program here and the opportunity to share our program with your audience. I'm originally from Mississippi. I was left home after high school, went to the Naval Academy over here in Annapolis, Maryland. And then I spent a career as a Marine helicopter pilot before retiring about 18 years ago and settling here in Stafford, Virginia. I've been married over 37 years, and we have 3 children and 5 grandchildren. After retiring from the military, I worked as a defense contractor up at Fort Belvoir for a few years before my wife and I opened Camille's Sidewalk Cafe here in Central Park in Fredericksburg. We owned Camille's for about 6 years. We closed it in May or June of 2010, and I've since gotten invested in multiple franchises in the country here. When we owned Camille's, we were struggling with our personal finances, and while doing that, I picked up a book at a nearby bookstore that laid out some sound financial principles, and we began applying those in our personal finances to begin getting out of debt. A few years later, my wife and I attended the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace course held at our church and continued applying these principles to our personal finances. And a few short years later, we were able to pay off our debt, except for our mortgage. We're still working on that. This past year, I was introduced to this specific financial fitness program by a friend of mine, and have been continuing to apply these principles and improving our personal financial situation.
That's amazing. You have an incredible background. And so to just kind of set the stage, how many people in the United States are living with some kind of debt or financial distress? How many people are in some kind of financial trouble and are seeking some sort of solution?
Well, Ariel, 99% of the people living in the richest countries in the world are not financially free. That means that 99 out of 100 people are struggling with debt of some kind. That includes mortgages, student loans, auto loans, credit cards, other types of consumer debt, and most are living paycheck to paycheck. The 3 biggest obstacles that prevent folks from getting ahead are the taxes, servicing our debt, and inflation.
That's just amazing. You're just a world of knowledge, Frank, and I appreciate you being honest with us here. So when someone is in some kind of financial trouble, where do they normally go for solutions, and where should they turn instead? Can you give us your best advice?
Sure. Sadly, according to numerous surveys, the top 3 ways people expect to become financially free are, number 1, the lottery. Just like the 20-year-old that just won the Mega Millions. Number 2 is inheritance. They're hoping that someone in their family tree has got it figured out, has got a lot in the bank, and it's going to leave that to them when they pass away. And the third, especially in our society here, many think that they can sue someone using lawsuits to become wealthy. What should they do instead? Work with your number 1 asset, yourself. Work as hard on yourself as you do on your job. Don't be comparing yourself to others. Compare yourself to where you were a year ago, and then set goals to where you want to be a year from now.
That's great advice, Frank. Thank you so much. So in a nutshell, can you tell us what financial fitness is? What does that look like, and why would someone need that?
In a nutshell, our financial fitness program is a set of 47 principles that, if applied consistently over time, will change your financial status and your financial future. They're not rocket science. Many are common sense, but as we know, common sense isn't always so common. Take, for instance, our number 1 principle. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. Pay yourself first, and then save what you pay yourself.
So here's a question for you. Do you find that most people have the education they need to have the success with their finances that they desire?
Absolutely not. Otherwise, more than 1% would be financially free. Real financial education is almost non-existent in our public school systems, and most people have to figure it out for themselves over their lifetime. Studies show that 1/3 of Americans could pass a simple, or less than 1/3 actually, could pass a simple quiz of straightforward questions regarding personal finances.
Okay, so then tell us a little bit about the educational value of financial fitness, because when I was looking into it, it seemed like it offered a lot of education as well.
Absolutely. The financial fitness program is designed to address these issues of lack of education in personal finances. It's formed by Life Leadership, which is an educational organization, and it gives people a chance to finally figure out the money thing and understand the forces working against them while doing something about it. The program has helped thousands get out of debt, stay out of debt, and learn to prosper in any economy.
That's awesome. So then do you work with those with both small and large incomes? And if so, how do you cater to both?
Sure. These principles apply regardless of your income level. You can be living paycheck to paycheck, whether you're making $30,000 a year or $300,000 a year. If you spend as much as you make or even more, then you're basically broke, maybe 1 or 2 paychecks away from bankruptcy. Let's take, for example, the National Football League and the players in that league. You know, everybody's interested in the playoffs right now leading up to the Super Bowl. Did you realize that Sports Illustrated produced an article a while back that stated that the average NFL player has a career of only 3 years, and he makes an average of $1 million a year? So that's $3 million. That's more than most people make in a lifetime. And most people would think if they had that $3 million, that their financial problems would be over. Kind of like winning the lottery. Well, this article went on to state that within 2 years after leaving the NFL, a whopping 78% of those players are either experiencing bankruptcy or severe financial hardships, much like those that win the lottery that experience financial problems later. And the reason is because they don't gain the financial literacy they need to manage that income.
Well, you probably piqued a lot of interest by now. So what exactly does this look like? Do you act as a coach? Is it a self-regulated program? If people are to get involved in financial fitness, what exactly does that look like?
We work with folks to the level that they want to. It can be from totally hands-off, a self-study, self-paced course, to group or one-on-one coaching. It all depends on how the client wants to work. Our philosophy is read, listen, and associate. You can receive a physical hard copy book, a hard copy workbook, a set of CDs, and you have an online portal that includes videos that go through the workbook step by step. Or you can receive it all digitally and just work on your computer, your tablet, your phone, however you want to do it. Those that are most successful with our program are the ones that plug into our community and attend our regular meetings where they get inspiration and motivation, accountability, and recognition. Our community is our secret sauce. And being involved increases your rate of success.
Perfect. Awesome. Now, I purchased one of your products for my teenager. He's 14 going on 15, and I thought it was fantastic. Can you speak a little bit to what you have for the younger crowd?
Absolutely. I actually purchased that same book for my 15-year-old grandson, and he's reading it now, and he really enjoys it. And since we've already mentioned that our financial education in schools is almost non-existent, where are you supposed to learn these principles? From their parents? We've already mentioned that the level of financial success and literacy among adults in the country and households now are less than desirable. If we want to make a change in the financial future of our families, then we have to make a change, and our program is that change. They're never too young to be in learning these principles.
Totally agree. I thought it was great for my kids. So I assume a lot of people are wondering, you know, there's other products out on the market, especially Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace. How are you different? How is financial fitness different from other products on the market that are similar?
Great question there. We get asked that question all the time. As I stated earlier, I've been through Financial Peace several years ago, and it's a very good program as far as it goes. Our program is more comprehensive. It teaches the offense, the defense, and the playing field of personal finance. The defense is getting out of debt and protecting your assets. We see financial peace as fitting squarely in the defense, and it does a very good job at that. But we also teach the offense, which is learning to make more money by investing in your number one asset, which is yourself, and creating assets that provide ongoing income. We also teach the playing field, which is how our monetary system works. Our system is tilted against the individual and is based on debt, government, business, and personal or consumer debt, but it's unsustainable. From leaving the gold standard decades ago to creating money out of thin air through something called fractional reserve banking, to printing more and more money and pumping that into our financial system, thereby making the money that we have in savings worth less and less, our system is working against us. Understanding the playing field is critical to getting ahead financially.
That's great, Frank. Thank you so much. So I have a large audience of moms and also wellness professionals and those in the medical field that I work with. How can financial fitness best help those particular groups? Are you able to speak particularly to those groups?
Sure, especially the moms, because as we know that moms typically run the household and the household budget. So understanding sound financial principles and establishing the correct habits of tracking our spending and our saving and will free up the cash flow needed to allow us to pay off the debts quicker and increase the cash flow even more in our households and becoming financially secure on the way to becoming financially free. And this applies to all occupations, including the medical professionals.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you so much, Frank. So lastly, do you have some testimonials for us?
Sure. As I mentioned earlier, thousands have eliminated their debt by applying these principles over time, but I can state specifically how they've affected us. Mm-hmm. By applying these principles, my wife and I were able to get out of debt, again, except for the house, but we're paying more and more on those mortgage payments, and we're paying the house down quicker because of what we've learned through this program. That extra cash flow of getting out of debt and the extra income that we've been able to create allows us to make more memories, and that's what we're focusing on. 2 years ago, we were able to go with my wife's dad and sister to Ireland to visit our son over there. That's something that had been on my father-in-law's bucket list for years, and we were able to check that off. And then this past spring, we were able to take our 2 older grandsons with us and fly out to San Francisco and visit my younger son, who's now living in San Francisco, and spend a week out there showing them the sights and stuff like that. Again, making memories. And this year, we plan to begin taking our younger grandkids to Disney World as they get old enough, one at a time, and making them the center of attention and just creating more and more memories. These are things that we would have never been able to do had we still been struggling to pay the debt that we had been accumulating over a lifetime there. Additionally, and to me, this is more important, my older son and his wife have used these principles over the last 2.5 years to reduce their debt by over $60,000. And they no longer argue about money like they used to. They were both on the same page financially. And when they do bust their budget, because it happens from time to time, they understand the impact and the path forward to correct what they need to do. It's made a huge difference in their relationship. So, can you just imagine what you would do if time and money were no object? Where would you go? What would you do? And what memories could you create?
I think you just hit the nail on the head, Frank. I wholeheartedly agree with just what you shared there. So thank you so much for sharing this with our audience today. I know you have really piqued some interest here, and I know you're going to help so many people, and that's what we're all about, is just helping others and adding value to others. So thank you so much. So where can they find you? How can they contact you? I'm going to put this in the notes section of the article when I post the video, but can you just share with us what's the best way to contact you and find out more information?
Sure, they can contact me directly via my email or phone number, which you can provide to them. Also, they can contact me through my website, which is mentorforlife.org. And LIFE is an acronym, and it stands for Living Intentionally for Excellence.
Thank you so much again, and this will be posted up on arielselwyn.com, and also you can find us on Facebook. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You added so much value today.
Thank you again for having me. It's great to see you again.
Of course.